school is the best-kept secret at NBC. Third down and 20 for Kenny Anderson. Throws it out here. He's got a man wide open. Bass first down at the 42-yard line. Right on the money, Ken Anderson to Don Bass.
And Sam, in all honesty, Kenny Anderson has taken a lot of heat. They say he's too shy. They say he's tired of getting hit. But when it comes to throwing the football, I don't think you can find anybody that can throw it on a line 25 or 30 yards right there. Laces up on the right foot. Bass catches it. That's first and 10.
With Bob Trumpy, Sam Nover. Nice to have you with us. Texas Stadium, 94 degrees at game time, about 115 on the floor of the stadium. And as you see, the Bengals already lead it 3-0. A 48-yard field goal by Barr, and Archie Griffin grabbed by Harvey Martin around the neck, and he'd like to take his head off.
Grabbed by Harvey Martin? That's an understatement.
Jim Corbett and number 89, Dan Ross, are the messengers for head coach Homer Rice today. He has used his guards in the past. He has used his running backs. But he has an injury-depleted offensive line, and so today it's Corbett and Ross, and they alternate on every play. Corbett wears 81, Ross 89. Second down, 10, Cincinnati at the Dallas 42. Anderson tried to get it, I believe, to his running back, Archie Griffin, and Brunig had the coverage, and some pressure on Anderson that time. And so on third down, the nickel defense being employed by the Dallas Cowboys. And Charles Alexander comes into the game, as does Jim Corbett with the play from the bench. Nothing Bengals. Third down and 10. And as soon as we get a chance, there's one final, and a one that has a bearing on Cincinnati, of course, 31-10. The Astrodome, Houston, Texas. For those of you who are watching that football game, welcome to ours at Texas Stadium. It's 3-0 Cincinnati. He's got Bass again. First down and out of bounds. And Bass is killing the Dallas secondary.
And you know who he's doing it on? Hollywood Henderson. Man-to-man coverage. Linebacker on a wide receiver, and they expect Thomas Henderson to make this coverage, but Kenny just puts it once again right on the money. This wing and this wide set that the Bengals are using is making Dallas go to the single coverage. Bass just runs a good out pattern on Henderson. That's a good 15, 16-yard gain.
3 catches, 39 yards for Don Bass, and with the loss by Cleveland today and Pittsburgh's loss to Philadelphia, there are no undefeated teams in the Central Division of the American Football Conference. There is one winless team, the Cincinnati Bengals, but they lead here 3-0 and are driving for more. Anderson, they've got him back at the 35. Randy White is the man who made the tackle, but Bob Trumpy, in our pregame discussion, hit the nail right on the head. The Bengals are throwing on first down.
Randy White, nicknamed the Manster, on Mark Donahue, who is a second-year man from Michigan. Tough assignment for Mark, but I think he'll get it done. White might get through a couple of times, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Randy White's first sack of 1979. Last year he had 8. Dallas was very concerned about his inability to get to the quarterback. Well, concerned no more.
They had only 7 total sacks going into this game, but they've had a couple today. Second down, 16 Bengals. And the draw, Alexander, a couple of yards. He reaches the 32. Here are some more finals from around the National Football League. The Washington Redskins have beaten Atlanta 16-7. Dallas will be interested in that. There's the biggest upset of the day. The New York Jets have defeated Miami.
That's 3 straight. Walt Michaels over Don Shula. 2 last year, and now this one.
Has him in his hip pocket. New Orleans beat the hapless Giants again.
That's the other undefeated team in the profession.
And
whoa.
There's a big upset. Philadelphia and Washington are now 4-1. Dallas must win to keep pace today. We'll continue in a moment. Anderson, third down, throws it out here. It's intercepted by Randy Hughes. Ken Anderson is the only man back. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, out of bounds at the 3. Charles Alexander knocked him out.
the first time that formation worked. They ran Diane Ross in motion. Nobody went with him. The second time, Kenny was pressured slightly. Probably should not have thrown the football. Randy Hughes taking over for Charlie Waters, probably the third best safety there is in professional football. All three of them play on the same team, and that's what you call your turnaround. 1st and 10 Dallas on the 4.
68 yards on the return by Randy Hughes. And while Anderson did not make the tackle, he saved the touchdown, enabling Alexander to get back. So the Cowboys have the ball at the 3.5-yard line and a chance to get on the board. What a turn of events this has been. The Bengals leading 3-0, driving for more, and Anderson is picked off by Randy Hughes. Let's check the other scores. New Orleans has beaten the New York Giants 24-14 in its final. Houston, you saw, over Cleveland 31-10. We told you the Redskins beat Atlanta 16-7. That's final. Walt Michaels and the Jets upsetting Miami 33-27. That's final. And Philadelphia beat the Steelers 17-14. That is final. One more. Minnesota 13-10 over Detroit. That is final.
You saw on the screen there Roger Staubach talking to Tom Landry, Jim Myers, the offensive coordinator, assistant head coach for Dallas, and Jim LeClaire talking on the Bengals sideline to Homer Rice and Dick Modzelewski. Somehow got to keep them out of the end zone here. A true test of a defense. 1st and 3.5.
In the third quarter, Buffalo, boy, they are amazing. They have played some excellent football this year. Baltimore is still winless after 4. Trying to get in the victory column for the first time in 1979.
Unfortunately, though, Buffalo does have to score 50 points a game because they can't stop anybody from scoring.
They're doing it today. They've held Baltimore to 6. So the timeout here, we get things straightened away. The Cowboys huddle now back at the 15-yard line of Cincinnati. John Fitzgerald over the ball. Dorsett and Laidlaw, the running backs. Soldi in motion. Laidlaw, touchdown Dallas. It did not take long. 3-yard run by Scott Laidlaw. Soldi went in motion and led the way.
Tight end trap. Tight end trap up the middle. Good blocking. Offensive line by Dallas. Just left it all up to Jay Soldi and Scott Laidlaw. Watch Soldi block on Wilson Whitley. Just enough to get Laidlaw up through the line of scrimmage. That's an easy 3.5 yards. 6-3 Dallas.
And so Raphael Seption will attempt to tag on the extra point. Danny White will hold. It is 6-3 Cowboys. And we may never know as this day progresses just how big the interception by Randy Hughes really is. Or was, for that matter, as we look back on it. Because the Bengals were driving for at least 3 more. Seption puts it up, and it is good. For the kickoff, here's Seption's kick. It is deep. Deacon Turner, a yard deep in the end zone. 15, reaches the 20, and will go no farther as he's pushed back. Steve Wilson, 81 downfield, to make the tackle. So Kenny Anderson will go back to work now from the neighborhood of his own 20 Sports World. Pete Johnson gets outside to the 25-yard line, and when he gets outside, he is a lug. Brunig had to ride his back to bring him out at the 27.
Still not healthy, Pete Johnson. Cracked his wrist last preseason game, still playing about one arm. Weighs about 255, 260, and you're right. When he gets rambling, he's tough to bring down.
And I'll tell you, Bob, where they sorely missed him in the opener at Denver, where they lost to the Broncos 10-0, had a 3rd and 4th at the 1-yard line. You did the game. You know better than I do.
Yes, you're right.
And had you had Johnson in there, it might have been a different story.
He's a load. There's no doubt about that.
2nd down, 4 for the Bengals, now trailing 7-3. Anderson to throw it. Johnson could not hold on. Henderson had the coverage. And speaking of Thomas Henderson, that 68-yard return by Randy Hughes was the longest since Henderson's return of 79 yards against Tampa Bay in the 3rd game of the 1977 season.
There's Thomas Henderson. Quiet it down a little bit. How many linebackers in the NFL do you know that got enough speed to have to their credit a 97-yard kickoff return? Well, there's one right there. I wouldn't want to try to outrun that fellow.
I think you're 100% right. I can't think of anybody. Third down here for Kenny Anderson. 4 yards to go. Bass and Curtis, his receivers. Throws it out here to Bass. He's caught out of bounds. But he made an outstanding catch. They really caught it out of bounds.
I think he had it.
He is a great receiver, Bob.
I think he had it. And I'll tell you what, Kenny Anderson really got leveled by Harvey Martin. Martin just around Mike Wilson. Kenny in desperation throws it. Still gets enough on it to get it out to Bass. I want to see this. I hope I see his feet. I think he caught that. I don't know how he got that over Aaron Kyle's fingers. In fact, Aaron Kyle tipped it.
I think he came down with just 1 foot inbounds. We cannot see it, I don't believe.
Yeah, but that was a good enough catch. You should give it to him.
But I'll tell you one thing about Don Bass. He's the second best number 84 the Cincinnati Bengals have ever had.
Oh, you're very kind. I didn't do much to that jersey. I very seldom got it dirty. I know that.
Steve Wilson, number 81, back in single safety for Dallas. Awaiting Pat McAnally's punt, and he arches a high spiral. Wilson at the 25. Avoids the first wave at the 30 and out of bounds. And McAnally promised a 70-yarder today. That was not it, but he says before the day is out, 45 yards by the number 5 punter in the AFC, a 4-yard return. Came from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, the Pirates and Reds, and we'll have both the American and National League playoffs. Staubach, the home run to Tony Hill, and he overthrew him. Marvin Cobb and Lewis Frieden had the double coverage, but Tony Hill can run like the wind, and he had 5 yards on both of them.
And Rogers a little mad at himself. There you see the shadow on the stadium, which is tough for the players and also tough on our cameras. Sam, did you know that when they designed this stadium, they had a mock-up with a lamp sitting off to the side of it, and that sun is not supposed to show into this stadium. Somehow they had the lamp in the wrong position, and that's what they end up with. But by the third quarter, it should be gone.
With all the architectural genius and all the money down here in Texas, they couldn't figure it out.
It is a pretty place, though. It is a very, very nice place to watch a football game.
However, it's probably among the 3 hardest surfaces in the National Football League.
And the 3 hottest.
Yes. Draw to Dorsett. Breaks the tackle. Trying to get outside. Into Cincinnati territory and out of bounds at the 47. Run out by Lewis Frieden. But Dorsett broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Giron is the man who ran him out. 23 yards on the carry.
And for a little guy, he has amazing strength. You'll see him run right through the tackle of, I believe,
no, it was Giron.
Dick Giron.
Yes.
Dick Giron, right through the tackle of Dick Giron, and he is right now in full stride. 3 steps, and he's in full stride. And that guy makes 23 yards look so fast. He's not the only Heisman Trophy winner on the field. Griffin's got 2, Staubach's got 1, and 63 for Navy. We got hardware all over the place from the college ranks.
So it's a first down at the Cincinnati 45.5-yard line. There is good reason why Tony Dorsett gained more yardage in college than any living human being. Brinson inside the 45 and maybe the 43-yard line.
Easy,
Jim
Jimmy.
LeClaire, the middle linebacker, getting tough. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League.
I don't think Dallas has run outside their offensive tackles yet. They've run inside the offensive tackles, right straight at the Cincinnati Bengals defensive lineman.
Second down and a short 8. Drew Pearson goes in motion. Dorsett again looking to spring inside the 40. Close to a first down as he reaches the 36-yard line. And the trap blocking up front has been outstanding. The guards, Rafferty, number 64, and Scott, 68, are really having a ball with that young and inexperienced front 4 of Cincinnati.
And people in professional football say that there's a difference between offensive linemen and defensive linemen, that offensive linemen are somewhat passive. Well, Dallas fixes that. They draft defensive people out of college and make them offensive linemen. So they've got a mean streak in them. There's the man behind it all. Tom Landry, Tex Schramm, Ermal Allen, Jim Myers. They know what they're doing when it comes to that oblong-shaped thing down there on the field.
Third down, less than a yard for Dallas. Dorsett averaging 9 yards of pop already. 62 yards, 7 carries. Brinson gets the first down as he reaches the 35-yard line. Giron coming up from his free safety spot to make the tackle. But I believe he has the first down.
Close enough to measure, though.
Have they waved in the sticks?
I think they're going to. There's Homer Rice. He's a disciple of the man he works for, Paul Brown, and also Tom Landry. Was the head coach and athletic director at Rice University, no relation. Also helped a great deal in the development of it's a first down Dallas. Some very good quarterbacks. Greg Cook at University of Cincinnati, Rick Norton, at Kentucky and Tommy Kramer at Rice.
Look what Buffalo's doing to Baltimore in the third quarter. And before we get off the subject of Homer Rice, he got what has to be termed a vote of confidence from Paul Brown this week. Brown quoted as saying, "I am not a musical chairs man. I am sticking with Homer Rice." Tampa Bay leading Chicago 10-6. Defensive struggle. Oakland has gone on top of Denver first quarter. And Seattle 3-0 over Kansas City. Here it's 7-3 Dallas. Staubach on first down. He wants Drew Pearson. Breeden with great coverage had the interception, but Pearson came back to break it up. Excellent coverage by Louis Breeden, whose best day ever was in a 9-7 loss to Pittsburgh. He shut out Lynn Swann last year.
He has the basic ability to do it, too. There's Drew Pearson and Roger Staubach. You talked about a vote of confidence earlier, Sam. The all-time vote of confidence went to Tom Landry in 1963. The Cowboys were not winning. Everybody wanted Tom Landry's head. So Tex Schramm, Clint Murchison got together and said there's only one way to settle this. And they gave him a 10-year guaranteed contract, and they've won ever since.
That was Bob Trumpy speaking. This is Sam Nover. We're got a nice football game here, 7-3 Dallas on a very warm afternoon in Irving, Texas. Roger Staubach is not particularly enjoying his stats today. 1 out of 6 with 1 interception for 5 yards. But this man has had an absolutely outstanding afternoon. Tony Dorsett reaches the 22-yard line, and a flag is down. First down. It appeared as if they threw a flag, or was that just a piece of paper that flew down?
I think they threw a flag, face mask, against Cincinnati. I want to tell you, that young man has such great acceleration and runs kind of hunched over a little bit, so there's nothing to grab but his thighs. And when you try to, here's the call.
67, face mask on the tackle. First down.
And oddly enough, 67 is Gary Burley, one of Tony Dorsett's closest friends, having played at the University of Pittsburgh with him.
And watch the way he accelerates through the line and breaks tackles like that, although he was not touched, but great moves, great acceleration, and he's an absolutely tireless runner.
And if I failed to mention it before, the gentleman who spoke to you from the field was referee Fred Silva. Dorsett again. Reaches the 11-yard line. Dumped there by Reggie Williams, 57. Burley, at practice here yesterday, probably said it better than anybody else when he looked at the field and said, "I just dread having to chase Tony Dorsett around on this thing."
And chase is just about what you do with that guy. Gary Burley last year had a phenomenal year for Cincinnati. Came to training camp this year about 15 pounds heavy. Is still fighting to get down to playing weight. And with this heat today, I don't know.
Playing at about 275. Second down and 5. Dallas leading 7-3, looking for more. Brinson, 36. Behind a Dorsett block. Cuts it in at the 10 to about the 6-yard line. And the 3-year veteran from the University of Florida may have picked up another Dallas first down.
And a devastating block by the rookie tight end of the Dallas Cowboys, Cosby. I don't think you're going to be able to, you'll see it just as Dorsett passes, or just as Laidlaw passes. Great block by Cosby. He gets to turn up. And they're going to measure for the first down.
Brinson has been plagued by injuries. He had a shoulder separation, a slight one in the St. Louis game. Also, a rib injury was diagnosed. So that young man hasn't really played since the opener at St. Louis. It's a first down, Dallas.
Excuse me, I said Laidlaw, Brinson. They're both replacing Robert Newhouse, who was out with a bad leg. Been bothering him for a couple of weeks now.
Well, they're doing a whale of a lot better than that today. 3.9 per rush isn't bad at all. But you can rest assured that Dorsett well over the 80-yard mark here in the first quarter. And the Cowboys are rushing the daylights out of the football. Laidlaw and Dorsett are the setbacks. First and goal, Dallas. It's Laidlaw. Puts his head into about the 2-yard line. Scott has the Dallas touchdown. Reggie Williams, 57, having to make the stop again.
Sam, this Dallas offense is averaging through 4 games 400 yards a game on offense, which is awesome. Then explain to me why they've had 3 very, very difficult football games and haven't blown anybody out. Yeah, they've won 3 games by 13 points total. They played St. Louis. O.J. Anderson had a great day. They played Chicago. Walter Payton had a great day. Last week, they had 5 turnovers. Roger Staubach threw an interception for a touchdown. They've had some bad breaks. Back in Dallas, Texas, we're about set for second quarter action. First quarter stats very revealing.
104 total yards by Dallas. Tony Dorsett has 81 of them, all on the ground in 8 carries. Cincinnati in a goal line defense, 72 Mac Mitchell, 63 Mike White, 52 Tom Dinkle are all in there. Ken Riley is a lone back. They've got 4 linebackers and 6 down linemen. Second and goal. And to the goal line, I am waiting for the official signal. Staubach tried to sneak it in, but he did not get there.
That was pretty tricky. That was Fitzgerald and Roger Staubach all by themselves. Nobody else was even down in their stance. Sam, I might tell you one thing. Tony Dorsett holds the single-game rushing record for Dallas, which is 206 yards. He has amassed 81 yards so far in the first quarter for Dallas.
Keep an eye on that statistic, so we're just probably the length of the football shy of the goal line. Third down and goal, Dallas. They lead it 7-3. Early second quarter. Laidlaw is the other back. In motion, Laidlaw, touchdown Dallas.
Same play. Two touchdowns, both the same play. Both the tight end in motion. Both the tight end in motion on Wilson Whitley, just trying to trap him. They let him come across the line of scrimmage. Salter gets him out of the way just a little bit. Laidlaw up the middle for another touchdown.
Laidlaw reminds me a great deal, not so much in style, but in accomplishment, of Don McCauley at Baltimore. He produces.
Very consistent. Will do anything offensively for you to get it in the end zone.
7 touchdowns in 6 games last year, replacing Robert Newhouse. He's got 2 today, and Seption will try to make it 14-3. Placement, kick is up, and it is good. So the Cowboys, after trailing early on 3-0, have answered with 2 touchdowns. Randy Hughes, the catalyst, a 68-yard interception, will return to Texas Stadium in a moment.
There you see the stats on the scoring drive for Dallas. Their second touchdown in that drive of 69 yards. They had 7 first downs. Interesting, Sam, that in the first quarter, Roger Staubach, as you said, was 1 for 6 with 1 interception. Kenny Anderson 4 for 8 for 1 interception.
And here's Raphael Seption to kick it to Browner, 21, Turner, 22, Nathan Poole, 35. And he drilled it right at Turner. About 3 yards deep in the end zone. 15, 20, crosses the 20 to about the 23-yard line and stopped by number 81, Steve Wilson, and number 84, Doug Cosby, a couple of rookies. 25 yards on the return, and the Bengals will set up shop at their own 22-yard line. Don't forget that NFL 79 moves into the 6th week of the season. Next Sunday, full schedule of regional coverage games. NFL 79 at 3:30. Our 3:30 games of Steelers and Cleveland. Won't that be something? Trumpy and I will be in Denver, San Diego, Denver. That should be an outstanding ball game. And the Jets at Baltimore, then at 4:30, Seattle and San Francisco. Preceded, of course, by NBC's coverage of the baseball playoffs. Alexander reaches the 25-yard line. The rookie out of LSU, a couple of yards, stopped by Larry Cole. And you know, oddly enough, Bob, the left side was supposed to be suspect with the retirement of Too Tall Jones, or rather the retirement of both Too Tall and Jethro Pugh. But Cole and Dave Stalls have upheld their end of the bargain.
Stalls has been a surprise for him. Larry Cole has played consistent football for this football team for an awful long time. I think it's his 13th year in professional football, and he tries desperately not to get any publicity.
If there has been a disappointment along the front line, it's been 54. The man they say is the best defensive tackle in the game, Randy White. He has not played up to par. Throws it out here, Isaac Curtis, and he can't get it. Badly thrown pass. The pressure was on Anderson, and for just the 5th time in 5 games, they threw at Isaac Curtis.
If he's not open and takes something away, you're wasting a receiver. Kreider, the young man in there now, is an excellent receiver. I imagine he'll get a lot more business.
3rd down and 8 for Anderson. Over the middle, Kreider couldn't hold on. He got his hands on it, and they say if you get your hands on the football, you should catch the pass. It may have been high, but Kreider is the rookie out of Lehigh.
And in defense of Kreider, that's the first pass that's been thrown his direction as a throw. So you are going to be a little nervous. Kenny zipped that one in there, too. That's 3 downs and out again.
And so Steve Wilson, number 81, is back in single safety. McAnally, number 87, to punt it for Cincinnati. McAnally was the number 1 punter of the National Football League. I know you thought that distinction always belonged to Ray Guy of Oakland, but this guy just went out and just clean beat him last year. And an excellent punt driving Wilson back to the 22. Looking for the blocking. Got to the 30-yard line and knocked out there by Jim Browner, the Notre Dame rookie. 54 yards on the punt by McAnally. Back in Dallas, Texas. Irving, Texas to be exact. The Cowboys leading the Cincinnati Bengals 14-3. And Dallas will go to work at its own 31-yard line. Drew Pearson split wide right. Tony Hill to the left. Dorsett dots the I. Takes the pitch from Staubach. 35-40. Almost the first down. May have gotten it. Reggie Williams is the man who made the stop. And why, Bob Clumpy, is Dorsett getting outside so easily?
Well, that was a block by Jay Saldy, who is not only a tight end, but also a split receiver at 228 pounds. There's the final 31-10.
Let's
go ahead,
down
Sam. I'll tell you later.
We have Houston 31-10. Redskins beat Atlanta 16-7. One of the two big upsets of the day, the Jets over Miami by 6. New Orleans has beaten the Giants by 10. The second big upset, Philadelphia 17-14 over Pittsburgh. Minnesota 13-10 over Detroit. More in just a moment. First down, Dallas. Dorsett got the 10 yards and a little bit more. Play action. Throws it out here to Tony Hill, and he threw it in behind him. Ken Riley might have had the interception. And Staubach is not throwing the ball well today at all. Let's continue with the scores. Fourth quarter, Buffalo blowing out the winless Baltimore Colts. Also in the fourth, the Bears' blood over the St. Louis Cardinals. That does it. Second down and 10, 14-3 here. Dallas leading Cincinnati. Straight ahead, Jim LeClaire making the stop on Laidlaw. So it'll be third down and long now for Staubach, who is 1 for 8 in the passing department.
Sam, one of the real pluses for the Dallas offense, something that Cincinnati really suffers from, that is that Dallas, with the running back like Tony Dorsett, they use a lot of play action. They keep the linebackers uptight, and therefore the wide receivers can get 10 yards down the field and be relatively open. Cincinnati really doesn't have the running game to go to and use play action to keep those linebackers up.
Cowboys are 3 out of 4 in third down conversions thus far. This is second quarter action, and they are moving into the sun. Shotgun used for the first time today. Staubach has a man. Preston Pearson, he couldn't hold on. Bo Harris had the coverage, and Pearson came up a little lame. He is limping. Danny White kicking it to Vaughn Lusby. Good hang time. Inside the 10, Henderson tipped it back, and they kill it at the 2. Well, Thomas Henderson is the first to tell you that he's a remarkable athlete, and he just proved it.
Not the least bit modest. Hollywood Henderson, 55 yards on the punt. Vaughn Lusby on the fair catch signal. And Henderson has the presence of mind to stay out of the end zone. If his feet touch the end zone, he's a very gifted athlete. And it's also amazing he's a starting linebacker and still loves to play on a special team.
So the Bengals trailing 14-3, but that's not the worst news. Pete Johnson gets it to about the 2, and Brunig rides him to the ground. I think they'll rule that his forward progress was stopped at the 2, although he reached the 4.
And, Sam, I want to tell you, it is discouraging to go on the field with 99 yards to go for a touchdown. And that's the 5th time this season that the Dallas Cowboys punt coverage team is down the ball inside the 5-yard line. And that's an interesting graphic right there, too. Yes, they have the same schedule as does Pittsburgh, except they play the teams away that Pittsburgh plays at home.
And the team that appeared to be the easiest opponent in the first 4 weeks is the team that beat them the worst, Buffalo, 51-24. From his own end zone, Anderson throws it out here to Archie Griffin. 5, 10, may have gotten the first down. I believe he did on a great second effort by the 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. Randy Hughes made the tackle. But I think Cincinnati is out of immediate danger.
Archie Griffin came out of college from Ohio State, where until this year, the only time they threw it was from the center to the punter. And he made himself a good receiver.
I was going to say, let's give him credit. He has worked very hard and very diligently at catching the football, and he has become a better than adequate receiver.
And I'm telling you, Sam, I have never seen anybody on the Cincinnati Bengals football team work harder than Archie Griffin does. Just short of the first down. Oh, it is a first down. Thank you, gentlemen. He is a guy whose heart will not fit in this stadium. If he were 6'3",
that's high praise, and I think one of the things that's made him a better football player this year, at least it's conjecture on some people's part, is the drafting of Charles Alexander.
I do believe that Archie Griffin, whenever he is pushed, he tries 130% instead of 110%. I like that little kid.
Don Bass goes wide left. Isaac Curtis to the right. 45 is Griffin. He gets the football, and Larry Cole has him as he reaches the 13-yard line. Cole, the 12-year veteran out of Hawaii, in the past has been accustomed to playing tackle, was moved outside with the retirement of Too Tall Jones.
And there you saw an example of that flex defense. I think, as put as succinctly as you can possibly put it, the flex defense is designed for one thing and one thing alone, and that's for pursuit for all the defensive linemen. They'll put one off the line of scrimmage so that he can get to the play going the other way.
Would it be oversimplifying to say the flex is a zone defense against the run?
Yes, I do believe that's right. That's exactly right.
Second down for Kenny Anderson. He's got a long 8. Throws it out here. Oh, look at the hit on Griffin. Thomas Henderson.
Little shrug of the shoulders there.
He did that to Brian Sipe last week, and Sipe admits that he didn't see clearly for about 4 series.
And this doesn't only take strength, it takes a great deal of timing. Boom. You say you want to play football, do you? You want to drive a Rolls Royce and wear a mink coat? Well, that's the price you have to pay.
Dan Ross, 89. Steve Kreider, 86. And 40, Charles Alexander, all come into the Cincinnati backfield. And as Bob diagnosed, when Preston Pearson missed the pass on the last possession, he has a slight hamstring injury. That's on the Dallas side. Here it's 3rd down and 8 for Kenny Anderson. Straight ahead. Alexander crosses the 22 to about the 24-yard line, and I believe he's got another Cincinnati first down.
And in college, excuse me, Sam, in college they called him Alexander the Great. Played right down the road from here at LSU, a guy with legitimate 4.3 speed. Good block by Mark Donahue, trap block on Harvey Martin, and that time Mr. Henderson didn't help.
Excellent call from the Cincinnati bench. That is a first down for the Bengals. They trail 14-3. 8:50 to go on a turning clock here in the second quarter.
They got to get the ball down the field to Isaac Curtis, Sam.
Aaron Kyle has single coverage on him. Anderson, down he goes, back at the 15-yard line. Let's pause briefly for station identification. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy back in Dallas, Texas. And Anderson has just been thrown for a sizable loss. Second down, 18. Cincinnati back at their own 16-yard line. Anderson forced to throw it. As Archie Griffin out of bounds at the 20, Henderson had the coverage. So a very short gain on second down, and it doesn't erase the problem, Bob. Kenny's got a 4th quarter. I'm sorry, it is late 4th quarter. It is not final. Late 4th quarter. 3rd down for Kenny Anderson. Throws it down here, and it's caught. Dennis Thurman had the coverage on Steve Kreider, and they ruled he caught it out of bounds.
Oh.
I'd like to see that one again.
Well, that's one of the first things a rookie receiver has to learn is without looking where that sideline is. And it just comes with practice. Nobody shows you how to do it. You just got to have to.
McAnally back at his own 5-yard line. Steve Wilson in single safety at his 30. I think respecting McAnally a bit more than he did on the first 2 punts of the day. Giving him a good 60 yards, Bob. I think that's safe.
Yeah, he might get one here.
Didn't get all of it, but it's good enough. Wilson fair catches and goes out of bounds at the 32-yard of the change of possession.
Well, then why was the flag up here?
Let's listen. Maybe Fred will tell us.
Post possession, number 57. Personal foul.
Again this series on their own 17-yard line. Staubach tried to give it to Laidlaw, cutting back, and he was stopped for perhaps a yard loss on the play by Eddie Edwards, the 3rd-year man from Miami of Florida. Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas beat Atlanta 16-7. The Eagles shot Pittsburgh 17-14. Second down, 11 now for Staubach. Good protection. Throws it out here short. Dorsett spins around and goes down to the 22-yard line. He looked like he was screwing himself into the ground.
A pirouette. What a talented guy he is. And he looks a little bit tired, but as you said earlier, Sam, just rounding into shape for the 1979 season, out for a number of weeks with a broken toe, dropped a mirror on it on the team bus after a football game. But he's one of those guys that he runs 25 yards, gets up like somebody shot him, and the next time they give it to him again, he runs 65 yards.
Bob, I had the real pleasure of watching every home game he played at the University of Pittsburgh during his 4 years there. And he not only is a great football player, but he's handled his publicity and notoriety better than anybody I have ever met in professional sports. It is third down, and from the shotgun, Staubach to throw it. Throws it down here, and he's got a man. First down to Tony Hill. His first catch of the day, I believe, at the 40-yard line.
And Dallas going with the spread formation. That makes the Bengal defensive backs single cover. Three very gifted receivers. Tony Hill out of Stanford, as I said in the pregame program. Dallas took a chance and let Golden Richards go to Chicago and hoped that this guy would develop. Well, I think he's developed about 10 times faster than they thought. That's not a bad statistic right there.
Tony Hill's license plate here in Dallas reads dial 80. And Staubach has called that number a few times, hasn't he?
And you know what his teammates call him?
What?
Drill Hill.
I like it. From the 41 of Dallas, the Cowboys already leading 14-3. Drew Pearson in motion. Dorsett trying to cut it back, and this time they were waiting for him. Browner forced him in, and LeClaire filled the hole, and the net result is a loss of a yard.
And if for some reason it does appear that everybody's moving like they have sand in their shoes down there, ladies and gentlemen, it's about 115 degrees on that field. The sun is just now leaving the field of the stadium here in Texas. It is very warm.
And the clock continues to move. 5:10 to go, second quarter. Pearson goes wide right and Hill to the left. And again, Brimson and Laidlaw alternating on every play. They're bringing in the offensive calls from offensive coordinator Dan Reeves. The flag is down as Dorsett reached the 43-yard line. Now it is final. I was premature a moment ago, but Tampa Bay has won its fifth straight, 17-13 over the Chicago Bears. Here's another final, Buffalo, and another reasonably amazing football team. They go 3-2 on the year. Could be 4-1 had Tom Dempsey made a 26-yard field goal against Miami in the opener. They beat Baltimore 31-13 today. And the Colts are 0-5. Second down and about 20 now for Staubach from the shotgun. They got him. He got rid of it, and the pressure caused that incompletion. Eddie Edwards was there, so was Ross Browner and Wilson Whitley. I guess they were all there, or at least in the vicinity.
And one thing about the shotgun, it may be good, but when you go back there, you know, everybody knows they're going to throw it. There's Eddie Edwards, Ross Browner on the outside. Eddie Edwards from Miami just about gets to him. Wilson Whitley and Eddie Edwards were the two first-round draft choices a couple years ago for the Bengals, and that's what they're going to build their defensive line with.
You know, you add Mac Mitchell, who was the #1 draft choice of Cleveland, I believe, and of the 6 defensive linemen the Bengals carry, 4 of them first-round choices. Well, Staubach's got a quarter of a mile to go here on third down at his 30-yard line. Steps up in the pocket, throws it down here to Tony Hill. Oh, Drew Pearson, first down and more. Carries the man to the 32-yard line. Drew Pearson, number 88.
Sam, that was 3rd and 20, and if the Bengals have suffered from one thing in the first 4 football games, it is the fact that their defensive backs have not been able to cover anybody. And Drew Pearson, once again, Staubach is kind of flushed out of the pocket with a decent pass rush, but he stands up there, and watch how thrown behind him. Not bad coverage by Dick Duran, but poor tackling once again by the Bengal defensive backs.
Not bad. I would say that was excellent coverage by Duran because Pearson had to turn the other way to catch the football.
Thrown behind him.
It really was not on the money. Pearson just made a remarkable catch. 38 yards on the pass to Drew Pearson, and Staubach wants more. Almost intercepted. Ken Riley, the 11-year veteran, cut in front of the intended receiver and almost had the interception.
He's the elder statesman on the Cincinnati Bengals in his 11th season. And you're right, he almost had him one. A receiver, no matter who it is, no matter how many years he's played, when he goes out for a reception, he must remember one thing. come back for the football. That's a lousy day for Roger Staubach.
So the clock stops with 3:54 to go here in the second quarter. It is a third down. It is a second down and 10 to go. Dallas leading 14-3. Steve Wilson replaces Drew Pearson at one wide receiver spot. Here's a screen to Dorsett. 25, 20, 15. Look at him change direction to the 10-yard line. Gerard made the saving tackle. First down, Dallas at the Cincinnati 11.
Well, we very seldom give a pat on the back to the offensive line, but watch the Dallas offensive line. Fitzgerald, Scott, Donovan. They set the whole thing up. Rayfield Wright at right tackle. Dorsett knows what to do with it when he gets it out there, cuts it back inside, then to the outside. Look at the acceleration that guy has. An amazing athlete. He gets it quickly, doesn't he?
Oh, he's outstanding. There are not enough adjectives to describe this young man who, as I said earlier, is playing in probably his equivalent to the first game of the year. He missed 4 preseason games. Tony takes it again. Outside. Out of bounds at about the 5-yard line. Ken Riley is the man who ran him out. The pulling guard, or the left tackle, Pat Donovan, tried to lead the way.
And it looks like he's ready to faint dead away. And they give him the ball again, and he does it again. And did you notice the strength he had shoving Ken Riley to the ground?
Wasn't that an old Jim Brown trick to get up very slowly after every carry and then lug his body back to the huddle and then go again?
Beat you to death with it. Oh, he's wearing the wrong number, though.
Second down, 5 at the Cincinnati 6-yard line.
Look at Dorsett.
Brinson is the other setback. I bet Dorsett gets it again. He does. Inside to about the 3. Leclerc holding on around his waist as Tony goes to the 3-yard line. It'll be third down, 2 to go for the first down, and 3 for the touchdown. And Dorsett has carried 3 straight times if you include the screen pass.
There's no doubt he's tired. And with as hot as it is, I'm sure that they will platoon their running backs as best they possibly can. But Tom Landry's got a starting team, and he wants to stay with it. And I don't think he cares if it's 215 degrees on the field.
And Cincinnati goes to the goal line defense now. 4 linebackers, 6 down linemen, and the lone backfield man is Ken Riley. And I believe we have a timeout on the field here called by Dallas. And maybe he wants to give Dorsett a ring.
You got it. You got it.
There's a fairly big play for Cincinnati to stay in it here before halftime. Third down and 2. Play action. Staubach throws it out in the end zone. Dupree, touchdown! Billy Joe Dupree. Bo Harris was just simply overmatched. He had one-on-one on the big tight end, Billy Joe Dupree.
Well, what they do is they fake a sweep behind Dorsett. He comes all the way across the line of scrimmage, right at the goal line. Staubach does a good job at disguising it. And Dupree is supposed to outrun Bo Harris. I don't think Bo could have done much better covering Billy Joe Dupree right there. And he's now the 4th best receiver in the history of Dallas, 184 catches, behind Bob Hayes, Drew Pearson, and Frank Clark.
Very select company for Mr. Dupree. And Raphael Seption to tack on the extra point. It is perfect. So the Cowboys have delivered a very crushing blow to Cincinnati here just before the 2-minute warning. It is now 21-3, the Cowboys over the winless Bengals. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy, we are in Dallas, Texas. 94 degrees at kickoff time, about 115 on the floor of the stadium. And the Cowboys are about as hot as the weather. They lead Cincinnati 21-3. Seption to kick it deep. And he drills another one. Deacon Turner, 5 yards deep in the end zone. 15, does not reach the 20. To about the 18-yard line. And as they unpile, 57 is Bruce Huther. And also Ron Springs, number 20, combined to make the stop at the 19.
And if you didn't see our pregame program, we featured the flak jacket that Kenny Anderson is wearing. Comes out of Houston, made the famous last year by Dan Pastorini to protect his lower back. Thing only weighs 4 ounces, and it covers his entire rib cage. Rather warm, though, I imagine, on today. No, he has not gained 15 pounds. That's the flak jacket.
Why would anybody have missed our pregame show? For the life of me, I can't figure it out. First down for Anderson. Throws it over the middle. He's got Archie Griffin to the 25. 30. Dragged down from behind by Randy Hughes, but that's the first down. And we have reached the 2-minute warning here in Dallas. That will be a first down at the 32-yard line of Cincinnati, and Anderson now will put the 2-minute offense into operation. Well, as you can see, just a very small quadrant of the field is still bathed in sunshine here, and by the time we start the third quarter, we should be entirely in shade, and that will be to an advantage, I imagine, on both sides.
I see a lot of fans going over there in that corner. I mean, hand fans to cool people off. You can get a heck of a suntan down here.
You can get a suntan in the shade. From the 32-yard line, Bass goes wide left, Isaac Curtis to the right. Alexander 40 and Griffin 45 of the running backs. And to about the 35-yard line, the ball carrier Charles Alexander, as Anderson tried to cross him up a little bit, and he didn't fool anybody. Larry Bethea, 76. And Bruce Thornton, 77, are the men who combined to make the stop. And they have the nickel defense in there now for Dallas. Second down, 6. Throws it over the middle. He's got a man. It's Bass to the 45-yard line. Bass is one of many Texas natives playing in this game for Cincinnati today. Billy Brooks, of course, is not here. Bujnak is injured. Blair Bush, Vern Holland, Wilson Whitley. Great catch by Jimmy Corbett at the 43 of Dallas, and Cincinnati slowly, inexorably moving downfield.
But you know what, Sam? A lot of people ask people in football, why is it so easy for you to gain yards the last 2 minutes of the half of the game, and you can't do that during the football game? Well, the reason is Dallas is sitting back far enough to make sure that they don't get a touchdown. They'll give up 10 yards. They don't want to give up 6 points.
Okay, we'll return in just a moment. The announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. A minute 12 showing here in the first half. Cincinnati has moved the football now to the Dallas 43-yard line, where they have a first down. And to score here before halftime for the Bengals could be very, very valuable. Griffin inside the 40 to the 38. Upended there by Randy Hughes, the strong safety. It'll be second down and 5. The Bengals have 2 timeouts remaining as we move under 1 minute. Anderson back to pass on second down. Has a man Bass at the 21-yard line. And he held onto the football. A great catch by Don Bass.
Great concentration on the football. And he took a good lick. A very good hit from Dennis Thurman. And hung onto the football. The Bengals will call a timeout. Now they got it on the 20-yard line. And to add one more thing of what I said, why it's so easy to get yardage with 2 minutes to go in the half, and that is the defensive backs are protecting only one part of the field within the last 2 minutes, and that's the field behind them. The rest of the game, they're protecting all the field. 11 for Pittsburgh.
Good question. He worked yesterday. We'll have to wait and see. It all begins Tuesday night at Riverfront in Cincinnati. At the 20-yard line, Brinson with the football, 35, and he's tackled on the far side of the field. Over there to make the stop was Tom Rood, 51. And so the Cowboys, I would imagine, will be content to run the clock out here with 31 seconds to go and starting this series at their own 35-yard line.
You just did a baseball promo. I think we at NBC got to say congratulations to the Montreal Expos. With all the doubleheaders they had to play in the last 2.5 weeks in the season, Dick Williams has done a marvelous job with that baseball team that is very young, and they really deserve to get in the playoffs, and I'm very sorry to see them lose.
Ditto, ditto. I don't know if I can ditto the last part of it, but I'll ditto the first 2. To the 40-yard line, Laidlaw, number 35, the ball carrier. Ross Browner, 79, is the man who made the stop. And they are letting the clock run, as one might expect, leading here 21-6, and the Cowboys have had themselves a first half. Now, there's a big question to be answered here, Bob, and that is the Cowboys haven't hurt anybody this year as regards blowing them out of a football game. Can they do it to Cincinnati?
Well, I do think that Cincinnati's kind of been snake-bitten this season. Dallas has not played very well, and still they're up 21.
The Cowboys run it up 21-3 after last Monday night's embarrassment in Cleveland. Scott Laidlaw has rushed for 2 touchdowns. Robert Newhouse is not playing.
I still sometimes insist on using the words. So here we go. Blair Bush out over the football. First down Cincinnati, and they send Bass wide left. And Isaac Curtis, despite what appeared to be a little hamstring problem, to the right. And And the pass out here intended for his running back, Charles Alexander. Cliff Harris had the coverage. It goes as an incompleted pass.
And Isaac Curtis is limping and limping badly. I'm not sure if it's hamstring or his hamstring or what, but I think he was the primary receiver on that play, and Kenny threw it out to Charles Alexander in the flat. Hopefully we'll try to get a picture of it. I think it's his left leg.
Nobody has caught more touchdown passes in Cincinnati history than Isaac Curtis, a total of 37, but he has been rendered ineffectual for all practical purposes here in 1979. Well put, well put. Second down, Kenny Anderson. Hegman faking the blitz. They throw it out here to Alexander, and Hegman got over to make the stop on it.
Same play, different coverage. You remember number 58? I think the last time you saw him was in Super Bowl 13 when he stripped the ball from Terry Bradshaw after Thomas Henderson stopped him, and there they are.
That was the nasty duo, wasn't it?
Well, it was if you were from Pittsburgh. I kind of enjoyed it.
You know, the odd thing about that play is that it cannot happen again.
You're right.
Because of the new rule, the whistle blows when the quarterback is in the grasp of the defensive player.
Absolutely.
Third down, Anderson needs a play, to say the least. Trailing 21-3. Tried to throw it ahead to Alexander, and it's ruled an incompleted forward pass. Larry Bethea broke it up. He picked up the football. That will be ruled an incompleted pass. Randy White was there.
It almost worked. That's the old shovel pass. The first team I saw ever do that was Dallas, from just about the same thing in shotgun formation. What he tried to do is an underhanded forward pass to Charles Alexander on the backside of the pass rush. There's nobody left. Everybody else in the defensive backfield has got coverage on somebody. Field goal time.
Well, it was a great play theoretically. It just didn't work. And so Barr will attempt one now from the 29-yard line.
Look good on paper.
Yeah. Ryder will hold at the 29. An attempt of 39 yards. Chris Barr, his second attempt of the day. He's 1 for 1. He kicks this one, and he nailed it. So Barr has been the only offense Cincinnati has had this afternoon. With 39 seconds to go in the half, the Bengals now trail 21-6. There, that's indicative of the first half.
Well, one of the things that the Bengals rely on a great deal is play-action passing, and they only have 53 yards rushing the football, so the play-action does nothing to the Dallas Cowboys, to their defense. I really don't think that Cincinnati has played that badly. They had one very bad turnover, which resulted in the Cowboys' first score, but they haven't played that badly.
They're Waterloo in the person of a 68-yard interception by Randy Hughes, and it was all Dallas after that. Short kick, Turner at the 3. 15-20. Outside, out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Run out by Dennis Thurman, the former Southern California star. 24 yards on the return. And so by Dr. Trumpy near the end of the first half. And he is back. First down, Cincinnati. From the I formation, deep back, Archie Griffin gets to the 28. Randy White and Bob Brunig are the men who make the stop, a gain of a couple of yards by the two-time Heisman Trophy winner in his fourth year now out of Ohio State. Seems remarkable that he's already in his fourth year. It does seem like yesterday.
Sam, you'll remember in the first half that the Bengals did most of their throwing on the first downs. I hope they don't go away from that in the second half, only simply because they're trailing 21-6. That seemed to work very well for them.
Number 84, Don Bass, comes wide left. And Isaac Curtis still in the starting lineup, wide right. From the I formation, Pete Johnson the up back, but it's Griffin to about the 34-yard line carrying the football. And he's dragged down by Henderson, 56, and White, 54. And it'll be third down and about 4 yards to go for Cincinnati. And Corbett comes out. Danny Ross goes in. They are the messengers today for Homer Rice. And you see the third down conversions there. The Cowboys have been very effective. The Bengals have been rather ineffectual. Actually, he's got about 3rd and 5, doesn't he? They split the backs again. Nickel defense by Dallas. The 5th defensive back is Thurman. Martin offside. Free play for Anderson. Throws it down here for Isaac, and he's couldn't hold on. Curtis single coverage with the rookie Aaron Mitchell, and he could not hold on to the football, but I think they'll get the first down nonetheless.
And a neat little bit of inflection by Kenny Anderson drew Harvey Martin off. That's legal. Defense offside, as long as you don't bob your head or anything like that, you can yell and scream and whistle it, anything that you want.
I am more concerned about Isaac Curtis. That appeared to hit him right in the hands.
Well, I don't think
79, offside, first down.
And Isaac Curtis is coming off the field.
So on the offsides by Harvey Martin, it's a first down for Cincinnati. Their drive is kept alive, and Steve Kreider, 86, replaces Isaac Curtis. Line of scrimmage, the 38-yard line of Cincinnati, trailing 21-6. Throws it out here to Kreider. He caught it out of bounds at the 47. Aaron Mitchell playing a little bit off him, but a pickup of about 7 yards, and Anderson had some pressure on him.
And Kreider is 1 for 1 with the sidelines. Once again, this is a time pass. Kenny goes back. The receiver goes the set distance. He sets and releases it quickly. D.D. Lewis almost got to him on a linebacker blitz. Fine catch by Kreider. Good play. And keep that up.
Gain of 8, second down and 2, Cincinnati. Now they shift Griffin to the top of the I. Pete Johnson is the up back. He gets the carry. First down as he reaches the 48-yard line, I believe. Brunig is the man who made the stop, but Johnson is a lug. 250 pounds, 6 feet tall, third year out of Ohio State.
Would 9 pounds make any difference as to whether or not he's a lug?
No, is he
He's 259.
Wow.
And he can still run, and he can catch the ball very well. Unfortunately, he's playing one-handed. There's a big part of the football game right there, time of possession. That normally tells you who's winning and losing.
Well, it's a rather accurate barometer today, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Bengals moving now, have a nice drive going. Anderson on first down, throws it over the middle to Bass at the 35-yard line. Stopped by Aaron Kyle, but Bass has had himself a great afternoon.
Absolutely. Getting nothing but single coverage out there, and Bass is making Aaron Kyle look bad. He's a big kid, too. He weighs about 218 pounds, has sensational speed, is from right here in Dallas, went to Houston, has a lot of players on the Dallas team that were teammates of his.
6 catches, 81 yards unofficially for Don Bass today. And when Billy Brooks comes off the injured reserve list, the Bengals are going to have some outstanding receivers if they can get Isaac going. Griffin for a couple of yards. And while I gave you that statistic on Bass, it reminds me that I want to tell you that here in Dallas, you get about as good a spotting and stats score as there is in the National Football League. Bruce Jolish is our stats man. Doug Adams and Ted Davis are the spotters, keeping Trumpy and I in business as usual as you see a third quarter score, 21-6. That's us here, Texas Stadium, Irving, Texas. And we'll keep you up to date on the other late games as the scores come into us. An excellent drive by Anderson. That's Kreider in motion. He gets the football and out of bounds at the 25. Very close to another Cincinnati first down.
And that one on Aaron Mitchell. Once again, just motion, and they're trying desperately to get single coverage, which they're getting with motion through the backfield by Kreider from Lehigh University. Not what you call your football power, but the Bengals also have a player from Dartmouth. They have one from Yale. They have one from Harvard. So they all sit around and play bridge, I suppose.
The intelligentsia of the National Football League. How did you make that club coming from Utah?
By the seat of my pants.
First down. Second man is Archie Griffin. He's got a hold of the 15-yard line. He'll be just a little bit shy of a first down.
Great block, Sam, by Pete Johnson. He just blasted D.D. Lewis. Watch Pete Johnson on this lead block. He just leveled D.D. Lewis and Archie Griffin, little guy, but with a lot of moves, and almost busted up through there for 6 points.
You know what the D.D. stands for in Lewis?
Down and dirty?
Dwight Douglas.
Oh, I like mine better.
After Dwight Eisenhower and Douglas MacArthur, he's got some big reps to live up to.
Really? You smoke a pipe?
I don't know. Second down, 2. Johnson puts his head into the pile and may have gotten the first down for Cincinnati inside the 15-yard line. Oh, did he ever. He broke through that pile. I hadn't seen where he landed, but he's down at the 12. Cliff Harris had to make the stop, but that will be another Cincinnati first down.
And when he gets healthy, he's going to be something else. I repeat, playing just about one-handed, and the offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals captured the line of scrimmage there and that's why you come up with a first down.
This is the best drive for the Bengals today for sure, maybe for the season. They have really moved the football, and Dallas hasn't challenged them at all. First down again. Anderson inside handoff to about the 8-yard line. Johnson again. Maybe the 9. I may have given him a bit too much on that one. Harrison scores now into the third quarter. Oakland continues to surprise Denver 14-3. Kansas City at the Kingdome still leading Seattle 10-6. San Francisco coming back at San Diego now at 17-9. The game being played in San Diego, and the Rams still cruising over the Cardinals.
Sam, the Bengals can't go away from their game plan. They got to throw it down here just like they have in the middle of the field.
Second down and 8. You called it, Bob. Over the middle. Touchdown. Don Bass.
That's 6 catches. He's had a heck of a day in front of the hometown folks from Fort Worth Polytechnic High School right here. Just a slant pattern. Kenny's got good protection. Throws it low. Makes sure no interception. Brunig, Aaron Mitchell on the coverage. They kind of bumped into each other. 6 points. Thank you, sir.
And so Chris Barr will attempt to make it 13 points for the Bengals. So that field goal at the end of the first half gave them a little bit of impetus, and this drive has really been magnificent, as engineered by Anderson. Ryder holds it, and Barr drills it. Wilson, 81. Wilson had an 84-yard kickoff return for a touchdown against the Bears called back, but this is Springs, 2 yards deep. The former Ohio State star, and they got him down at the 11-yard line.
Okay.
Nathan Poole, number 35, and getting off the bottom of the pile is 59, Howie Kernick. And so the special team of Cincinnati does the job, and Staubach will have to begin at his 11-yard line.
And it'll be interesting to see just what Dallas does offensively. In the first half, they gave it to Dorsett enough times to get the ball in the end zone. Let's see if they do it again. He had, what was it, 98 yards in the first half on 12 carries.
And do you remember what I said to you as we bowed out at halftime? The Cowboys haven't blown anybody out.
You're right.
They haven't got the killer instinct.
You're right.
They can't put them away when they have the chance. Let's see whether they can answer Anderson's touchdown with one of their own. Slant pattern to Pearson. First down to the 25, 27-yard line.
Well, that's a good start.
That's a heck of a start, and a great call by Staubach, or whomever called it, on first down.
Well, Tom Landry calls them all, and once again, Louis Breeden playing off, and Louis Breeden is on the ground. Louis Breeden playing off of Drew Pearson, trying to protect for the touchdown.
Scott Perry comes in to play cornerback now, replacing the injured Louis Breeden. First down, and the give to Dorsett. Following a block by Scott to the 34-yard line. And a pickup of about 6 yards as Browner and Cobb combine to make the stop. Let's pause 5 seconds for station ID. If for any reason you have just joined us, Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy, we welcome you to Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Third quarter action, 8.5 minutes to play. 21-13, Dallas leads it. But remember, they led at one point, 21-3. Second and 5 for Staubach. That's Larry Brinson. Nothing doing.
Good pursuit. Got a flag.
Flag is down. Bo Harris made the stop. The 5-year veteran out of LSU had it diagnosed perfectly for no gain.
Louis Breeden is back in the ballgame, Sam. I think he just got the wind knocked out of him. Bo Harris is making signs like it's illegal procedure against Dallas, and I do believe we're going to get it that way.
If so, I would imagine Cincinnati will refuse it, Bob. Wouldn't you think so?
Well, I don't know. With Tony Dorsett averaging about 7 yards a carry, I think I'd take it back. Ah, you see, I can be a defensive captain for the Cincinnati Bengals, but then I don't want to be.
Why not?
Because those guys hurt you when you play out there.
Here's Fred Silva.
Offense, number 87. Offside. Second down.
87 is Jay Saldy. So it's second down again, but now they have 10 yards to go for the first down. Tony Dorsett has gone over the 100-yard mark rushing for the 7th time in his very brief career. Here he is again. He almost broke that one to the 31-yard line. Boy, it sounds trite to say it, Bobby, but he is Mr. Excitement. When he gets his hand on the football, he might just as well go 70 as a yard.
You're right. And did you see the move he made? He jumped 3 yards sideways, a little fake. It's a draw. Watch the move he makes at the line. Look at that. I'm telling you, There's no coach in the world that can take credit for that. That is natural ability.
Burley's having a field day running down his former Pitt teammate, Tony Dorsett. So here's a big play now for Staubach on 3rd and 7. They slot Billy Joe Dupree right. It's a double wing. Staubach's got a man. First down. Tony Hill at the 40-yard line. And just a very simple out pattern. He had the linebacker coverage over there, Reggie Williams, and he just clean beat him at the sideline.
Absolutely, Sam, well put. Turnabout fair play. That's exactly what Cincinnati was doing, trying to put a running back or a receiver on a linebacker. And Tony Hill, who is, to say the least, a gifted receiver, he's supposed to beat Reggie Williams in all those cases. Reggie Williams owns a dog. That's a Great Dane, and the dog's name is Endangered Species.
First down, Dallas. So a nice 3rd down conversion by the Cowboys at their own 40-yard line. Then he throws it out here. He's got Dupree at the 43. Look at him as he had tanked to the 45. And Marvin Cobb had all he could do to wrestle him out of bounds.
I'll tell you one thing that's good about Billy Joe Dupree. He's got a heck of a coach. That's Mike Ditka, who was one of the all-time NFL tight ends ever. And this is the other half of the play that Drew Pearson caught just a minute ago. This is the underneath part of that play. Billy Joe Dupree just out in the flat. And with his size, that's 6'5", 245 against 5'10", 195.
They've got 63,179 in the house today, about 1,700 no-shows. That's 5 consecutive passes now that Staubach has completed after a horrendous first half, and Dorsett goes nowhere. What a fine defensive play by Wilson Whitley, 75, whom Mike Webster, the Steelers' all-pro center, calls the strongest tackle in pro football. He was, at least when he was playing the 3-4 as a nose tackle.
From the University of Houston, a Lombardi winner 2 years ago, first-round draft choice by the Bengals, and he just beat the trap block. He got across the line of scrimmage before the guard could get to him.
So here's another big 3rd down play for Dallas. Their conversion rate has been very, very good today. They have a 3rd down and 7 now at the 43-yard line. They're 7 out of 10. That is remarkable. What's considered good, Bob? About 35%?
40% is terrific.
Uh-oh, Staubach doesn't like the defensive alignment and calls timeout. Here, they led the entire NFL in 3rd down conversions, 53%. That's a great testimonial of the shotgun, isn't it?
For the offensive line.
And Roger, 3rd and 7. Got a man in the seam. It's Tony Hill, 35-yard line. And just a beautifully thrown pass by Staubach. That's all you can say. He threaded the proverbial needle, put it right in the seam of the zone.
Well, he was 6 for 15 in the first half, and in the second half, he's throwing a lot better. Watch the spiral on this ball. That is a bullet. Right to Tony Hill. First down.
Let me correct something Bob and I said earlier about Tony Dorsett having 7 days of rushing over 100 yards. He's had 11. Not 7, but 11. And this is just his 3rd season in the National Football League. First down, Dallas at the 35 of Cincinnati. Cowboys lead it by 8 points. Screen on the far side. He's got blockers. No, Riley with a great defensive play.
Great play.
And Drew Pearson just caught the 300th pass of his National Football League career here in Dallas. A flag is down. And he is just the 10th active player to have accomplished that remarkable feat.
Personal foul on the Cincinnati Bengals. Little late hit. I thought he had 6 points here, but Ken Riley made a magnificent play to recover off the block of 67, Donovan, to make the tackle.
Number 75.
Oh, Whitley, yes.
Coming in late.
Excellent call by the official. Right on it. The damage had been done by Riley, who, as Bob Trumpy pointed out to you, made just a superb play, avoiding the block of Donovan to make the stop, but Whitley ruined it all. So it's now first down at the 13 of Cincinnati. And they flood the left side. Dorsett now reverses his field and is dragged down for a loss of a yard. I thought he was going to come full circle and come back.
Well, he almost did. Reggie Williams messed that one up on a blitz. And he got back in the backfield before Tony Dorsett could do anything. You'll see Reggie Williams, 57. coming in there. Plenty of pursuit. Tony Dorsett changes his mind. Well, he still gets back almost to the line of scrimmage. That's not bad.
He lost a couple on the carry, so it's 2nd down and 12 from the 15-yard line, and both Tony Hill and Drew Pearson split left.
I imagine he'd go to Hill in this situation. He's the leading receiver and also the leading touchdown maker for the Dallas Cowboys.
Let us see. Draw to Dorsett. 10. Knocked forward to the 8-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 5. Ross Browner from behind knocked Dorsett 2 yards forward.
Dorsett's not a bad second choice, though, Sam. Would you agree with me if you're not going to go to Tony Hill?
I think Dorsett is a good choice anytime.
Yes.
From 1st to 4th down, from a yard to 15. It doesn't make any difference.
Once again, the acceleration, the ability with a great deal of speed to cut laterally. I mean, you can't coach anybody to do that. You just come in for football with it or without it.
So it's 3rd down and 5. Staubach has an important call here. Hill lined up in the backfield, now splits left. Preston Pearson, the lone setback, 26.
Single coverage.
Staubach throws it over the middle. It's incomplete. He tried to set it up for Preston Pearson as they had the screen set up, but the rush came from the linebacker, I believe, number 53, Bo Harris, wasn't it?
Yes, and also a total blitz by Cincinnati, taking a chance on defense, blitzing everybody and leaving single coverage on the outside receivers. There was just a mob of people there.
So Raphael Seption is on. Danny White will hold and spot the ball at the 16-yard line. It'll be a 26-yard attempt by Raphael Seption. Trying to make it an 11-point difference for Dallas. The kick is up. It is good. Seption has kicked a 26-yard field goal, and the Cowboys now go back on top by 11 points. We'll update the scores of the game still in progress right after this kickoff return. 5 yards deep, Deacon Turner. 10, 15, breaks away to the 19-yard line, and down he goes. All right, here we go. Game still in progress around the National Football. 24-13 Dallas. From the I formation, Anderson to pass on 1st down. Isaac Curtis came down with it at the 30-yard line. That's the talent that has distinguished Curtis as one of the greatest receivers in the National Football League, something that has been lacking from the Bengals offense in '79.
I agree. I've never seen anybody in professional football with better hands than Isaac Curtis. He's the only guy I've ever seen that can catch the ball when it's past him. He has that kind of ability, which is hard to understand, but even more difficult to do. They got to keep getting the ball to Isaac Curtis.
I like that. Hard to understand, but even more, that's very good. I don't know what it means, but I like the sound of it. Big series here for Cincinnati. Nothing doing on that carry. Archie Griffin stopped right at the line of scrimmage by Aaron Kyle and the Manster himself, not Monster, but Manster, Randy White.
There's one thing about your line, Sam, that this is a key series for Cincinnati, yes, but somehow you got to know that and not let Dallas know it. There's Randy White getting through there, yes. It is a key series, and I expect Cincinnati to continue to throw the football. That's what they've had the most success with.
2nd down and 10, 3 wide receivers as Kreider joins Curtis and Bass, and Charles Alexander is the setback all by himself as they slot Bass to the left. And Don has had a marvelous afternoon. Anderson throws it to Isaac, and he overthrew him at the 45-yard line of Dallas. The rookie Aaron Mitchell, who had to start at the last minute in place of Benny Barnes. Barnes, of course, you Cowboy fans know, has had a chronic foot problem, bone spurs, I believe, and he just hasn't played a lick today at all, and so the responsibility has fallen on the shoulders of this Nevada-Las Vegas rookie, Aaron Mitchell.
And playing on this AstroTurf probably does not help someone with sore feet. You know, the Dallas Cowboys don't even practice on AstroTurf, Sam. They practice on grass. Tom Landry doesn't like AstroTurf. Or tartan turf, as this is.
This is tartan. Slightly different. 3rd down and 10 now from the 32 of Cincinnati. Well, if this is a big series, and this is an even bigger play. Intercepted! Out of bounds, the rookie Aaron Mitchell. Pass intended for Kreider, intercepted by the rookie I was just talking about.
Well, it's kind of half and half, Sam. He was covered well by Aaron Mitchell. and I'm not sure Kenny should have thrown it in there, but also Kreider has got to come back with the football. That's a part of it, too. Here you'll see the interception. He's going upfield to catch the football. When he makes his break, he's got to come back to the football. Take nothing away from Mitchell, though. Good coverage, and I imagine that's a pass that Kenny wished he had back.
He'd like to have two of them back, the one to Randy Hughes in the first quarter that really turned the tone of this football game around. 36 yards on the return by Mitchell. The Cowboys are in business at the Cincinnati 13-yard line. Now they've got a chance to really put the heat on. Dorsett. Outside, inside, then outside again to the 10-yard line. He's enough to drive you crazy, isn't he?
Well, he worked hard for his yardage. There's no doubt about that. And the Dallas offensive line is an offensive line that's been a very much under-publicized line, but last year the offense ranked second overall. Only the Patriots beat them third on the run, third in the pass. They led the NFC in rushing, passing, led the NFL in scoring, 384 points, 342 first downs and 78. That's a club record. That is a good offensive team.
You know, they love Dorsett so much back in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, Bob, that the radio station there carries all of the Cowboys games. They're on the Cowboys radio network, would you believe? Just so they can keep track of the most illustrious Aliquippa native.
Aliquippa, Pennsylvania?
You bet. Larry Brinson, nothing. Ran into the stone wall of the 10-yard line in the person of Jimmy LeClaire, the middle linebacker, and I know you think very highly of him, Bob, having played with him for, what, 6-7 years.
One of the toughest middle linebackers I've ever come across. That's Eddie Edwards. I think he's got a leg cramp and nothing more than that. Hopefully that'll pass. It's from the heat. That's what it is, a leg cramp.
And Mike White, the rookie out of Albany State, has come on to replace him. Edwards wanted to stay in there.
Anyway, as I was saying about Jim LeClaire, he is one tough cookie in the middle.
Third down and 7 now for Dallas. So as Anderson had a big third down play a moment ago and was intercepted, Staubach has one now. Looking for the quick pop. It wasn't there. Now throws it over the middle. Touchdown to Tony Hill.
Here you'll see the play again. And Tony Hill is at least the third receiver in the receiver progression for Roger Staubach. He looks everywhere. And once again, it is rifled, flat rifled. And Tony Hill can take some abuse because Marvin Cobb hit him right in the chest and he hung onto the football.
And he caught that football right between Cobb and Bo Harris, the linebacker. They appeared to have excellent coverage, but there is no coverage on a pass like that by Staubach.
Agreed.
He couldn't have thrown it any better. Seption to make it 31 for Dallas, and he does. Now the Cowboys can feel comfortable, and they have rebounded very well. So they have answered Cincinnati's offensive thrust with one of their own. That's caught out of bounds, and Seption will have to kick it from the 30-yard line. Chris Barr. But it is a commanding 31-13 lead for the Cowboys as Seption kicks it again. Deacon Turner at his 8-yard line. 25. And runs right into the grasp of Bruce Huther, the special teams captain of the Cowboys. Again.
Offside. 76 on the kicking team. Offside. Re-kick.
Set has had himself a day, I can tell you that. He looks like he is rounded into shape after missing 4 preseason games in the opener in St. Louis. Nathan Poole, number 35, is deep with Jim Browner and Deacon Turner. Dorsett unofficially 113 yards rushing, 18 carries. 26 catching the football, 2 receptions. At the 13, it's Turner again. 25. Knocked down at the 30-yard line, and a very fine tackle by Dennis Thurman. 11 seconds to go in the third quarter, so this should do it. Unless an incompleted pass stops the clock for some reason. Griffin goes in motion. The lone setback gets the pitch. It's Pete Johnson getting up ahead of steam to the 35 and 40. They wrestle him down. That's not a bad play, Bob. You get him going with a head of steam, and he is really incredible to bring down.
You're right. It's something like Kansas City runs, too. They run Archie Griffin in motion. He blocks the corner. Well, I don't think Fred Silva would want to talk to Bob Brunig, nor would Brunig want to listen if it were against Dallas. Oh, my goodness. That's a big one, too.
2 to the 16. That's too many yards, Mr. Silva. Unless the infraction came behind the line of scrimmage. Now they're adjusting it to the 17-yard line. 17 and 15 or 32 where I went to school. I think that might do it.
Number 58, personal foul, clipping. First down.
Left corner of your screen, Blair Bush. Clipping on Thomas Henderson. It's legal between the tackles, but not legal out there.
Replay like that, Bob, convinces me that not only are the camera people doing their job, but so are our producer, Barry Stoddard, and director Dick Klein in the truck having a nice
I'll
afternoon.
agree with that, yes.
Don't forget, we'll have that Olympic address for you in just a moment. Hang on right after this play. Ooh, they tried the draw. Gave it to Charles Alexander. Nothing was there. Now here's that address. So it's a second down now after that long walk-off and the failing on the draw play. And about 24 yards to go. The nickel defense by Dallas. Dennis Thurman, the 5th defensive back. A flag is down. Anderson throws it out here. He's got his tight end, Dan Ross. First catch of the day for him, I believe, the rookie out of Northeastern.
But he was the one to jump.
He may have been. They're going back to the line of scrimmage again, and if so, yeah. Oh, no, they're pointing to Dallas.
Oh.
Bruce Thornton offside, the Illinois rookie who led the Big Ten in sacks last year.
He was also the Big Ten's most valuable player. You know, as a defensive lineman, you know who the last guy to do that was in the Big Ten?
Dick Butkus.
You peaked.
No, I just guessed.
Oh, okay. Dick Butkus. Bruce Thornton. Number 77.
Defense, number 77. Offside, second down.
Hey, I'm serious. I just guessed. I want a star for my forehead.
It was Dick Butkus. Dick Butkus. How did you know that?
Well, I said. Minutes and 16 seconds left in regulation time. Well, we have been informed that either it's cooled down on the field since the opening kickoff, or the temperature just never got as high as we've been telling you, but it's down considerably. So maybe that's why everybody still has a breath of fresh air and some life. And if we've misled you, we apologize, but they now say the temperature is probably closer to 90 degrees on the field.
No, we have not misled the people. I was down on the field before the game started, Sam. It was very, very uncomfortable with that. This turf, this tartan turf, seems to absorb the heat, and it reflects off of it, and it was very, very hot down there. And now that it's in the shade, it's gotten a lot cooler.
Well, we thank the Cowboys PR director, Doug Todd, for that information. I bet he runs around with a thermometer, doesn't he? Here's a 3rd and 13 for Anderson. Dumps it over the middle. Fighter at the 34-yard line. That won't even be close to a Cincinnati first down. They'll have to give it up again.
Randy Hughes comes in, and all they got is probably the third best safety in professional football, and Randy Hughes playing strong safety.
Pat McAnally kicking to Steve Wilson, who's back in single safety. McAnally spirals this and drives Wilson back to his 22-yard line. On the run, and a great play downfield by Scott Perry, number 32. And all the 1 o'clock finals for you. Here they are. Houston, a big win over Cleveland, 31-10. Washington by 9 over Atlanta. The Jets upset Miami. 24-14, New Orleans beat the Giants. Biggest upset of the day, Pittsburgh by losing to Philadelphia by 3. We'll continue in a moment. Dorsett for 4 yards quickly over the middle. Once again, Philadelphia 17-14 over Pittsburgh. Continuing, Minnesota beat Detroit 13-10. These are all final. Buffalo keeps Baltimore winless 31-13, and Tampa Bay still undefeated by 4 over the Bears. Still in progress. Oakland leads Denver now 17-3. Kansas City is going in front of Seattle at the Kingdome. That's 17-6. That's 4th quarter score. San Diego starting to blow out San Francisco 24-9. That's in the 4th quarter. The Rams still 14-0 over the Cardinals. You are up to date. 31-13 is the score here in Dallas. The Cowboys in command. Second down. Staubach rolling, running, out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Chased out by Mike White, Mac Mitchell.
Mike White. Oh, Roger looks like he got hit. And he has some protection on his ribs, too. I think it was just the fact that a 270-pound defensive tackle landed on a 36-year-old, 200-pound quarterback. But he can still scramble with the best of them. Kind of a half rollout looking for Billy Joe Dupree. Dupree was covered very well. Mike White, young man out of Albany State in Georgia, proved to be the strongest Cincinnati Bengal player ever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Stronger than Whitley.
Stronger than Whitley.
Based on what?
They used the Nautilus equipment, and Mike White can lift more than anybody, so he's the strongest.
I'm impressed.
And I'm not going to argue with him.
I'm not. 3rd down and 2 now for Dallas. And again from the shotgun. Inside handoff, Dorsett. He's got down and more. Cuts it back, a flag is down. As he reaches the 50-yard line, Reggie Williams made the stop, along with Louis Breeden and Marvin Cobb, but a flag is down.
And it's a clip, and it was an unnecessary clip. I couldn't see who did it, but it was a clip on an offensive lineman coming through from the back. Blocking below the knees. Okay, I'll buy that.
Close enough, Bob.
Number 89, offense, illegal cut.
Oh.
3rd down.
Well, it's Billy Joe Dupree, and it's 3rd down again, but now instead of 2, it's 7 yards to go. Look at him move.
He's smooth, isn't he? Runs through more tackles than any running back I've ever seen, I do believe. 19 rushes, 114 yards, and he always makes every yard look easy.
Scott Perry replaces Jim LeClaire, so they pull the middle linebacker out, a 5th defensive back. And they flood the right side offensively here in a double wing formation. Staubach throws it out here to Tony Hill, and he overthrew him. Good coverage by the strong safety Marvin Cobb. And so the penalty against Billy Joe Dupree, not only on Lusby, the rookie from Arkansas, is single safety back at his 30-yard line. He's a pretty good football player, isn't he, Bob?
Lou Holtz thought he was. He's the leading punt returner in the history of the Arkansas Razorbacks. And Lou Holtz knows a lot about talent in football, and he liked that young man when he was playing for Lou down at Arkansas.
He's got a 40-yarder to his credit this year, and that's longer than anything that Cincinnati had in punt returns last year. He avoids the first couple of men, and down he goes at the 35-yard line. Tonight on NBC. Over the middle to Don Bass at the 50-yard line. Aaron Kyle made the stop, but a flag is down. And before I leave this idea of the movie in the Disney's Wonderful World, you read where NBC is #1 in the ratings last week. How about that?
Number 77. 1st down.
Excellent vision, Trumpy. You know, you talk about the great week that NBC had in the ratings. Hopefully it'll be onward and upward from there. Of course, we believe that NBC gives you the best coverage of the National Football League week in and week out. We know we have the best baseball coverage anywhere. And our playoffs begin Tuesday night from Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, the Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. Then Wednesday night, the American League, Baltimore and California. Here's Alexander to the 25-yard line and not a step further. Stopped there by Larry Bethea and Randy White, and Bethea playing more and more in the second half here, as is Bruce Thornton, 77.
Next week, Dallas goes to Minnesota, who finally put one together today, so I imagine Tom Landry, because of the heat down on the field, saving some of his defensive linemen.
Well, we've got a great game next Sunday, don't we?
I hope to tell you we do.
You and I are going to Denver to do San Diego and the Denver Broncos at Mile High Stadium, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. These are our 3:30 games on NBC next Sunday. That should be a great football game with first place hanging in the balance. Both teams lost today. 10 flags are down. Ross dragged down from behind as he reaches the 45. I believe it's a legal procedure. I don't think it could be anything else. There was so much movement there before the ball was snapped by Blair Bush. I thought Trumpy was on the field.
No, I think you're going to call it on Don Bass, though. Not only did he move, he didn't even make any attempt to go back. Whoa, on Dallas. On Dallas. We keep the play. That surprises me.
I'll never learn.
Defense, number 79. Offside, refused.
I hope to tell you.
So they take the play, and we'll look at it, Bob.
Harvey Martin, Randy White,
never got back.
They're all jumping there. Well, we get the play. I think we dodged a bullet on that. I should say the Bengals dodged a bullet on that one.
3rd down and 1. What was that use of the first person pronoun? I guess when you play for somebody for 10 years, Robert, it's hard to divorce yourself, and nobody out there can blame you. And you distinguished yourself 10 glorious years with the orange and black of Cincinnati.
Yeah, but I wore more black and blue than I did anything else. That's why I got out.
So a first down conversion by the Bengals on a turning clock. 10:20 to go in the fourth quarter. It's 31-13 Dallas. The Bengals need a strike, and they need it in a hurry.
One thing I do like about the Cincinnati team, though, they're not folding. They're trailing 31-13, but they're still staying with their offense, still with the spread formation, and still throwing it to Don Bass.
From the 45 of Cincinnati, Bass goes wide left. Isaac Curtis just out of your picture to the right. Fakes the draw. Throws the home run to Isaac. And he almost caught it. It hit his hands, I believe. He had Aaron Mitchell turned around. And it may have grazed his hands, although I don't think he saw it.
Close. Very, very close. One of the most difficult passes
this year for the last 2 weeks.
Well, I do think that they've been primarily a passing team this year. You'll see how close this is to Isaac Curtis. Oh, just an inch more reach on Isaac Curtis. I think he would have caught it.
Answer my question, can you?
Well, behind 31-13, that's all they're going to do for the rest of the game.
Now, but how about earlier?
I think they passed the ball with pretty good frequency.
Over the middle, too high for Jimmy Corbett, the tight end.
Let me answer.
17 for 32, 181 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and I just can't tell you how big the interceptions were. The one in the first quarter by Randy Hughes turned the whole momentum of the football game around, and the one in the third quarter by the rookie Aaron Mitchell stopped some great momentum by Cincinnati as they were coming back.
Oh, what was that?
Did he try to one-hand that football?
He certainly did. That thing was dead in his hands, and he tried to catch it with one hand. Well, wait a minute. I don't understand that.
He ought to be fined, if you'll allow me to say it, for having tried to do something like that on a pass that did not necessitate a one-handed catch.
Well, let's see the play first, Sam, before we fine him. Let's see what happens. That was well within his reach.
Oh,
that was well within his reach. No reason to try one hand on that one.
I know he's not happy in Cincinnati and wants to be traded, but that is
very happy about it.
Yeah, the question is, will Paul Brown, Homer Rice, or anybody else say something to Isaac about it?
Well, if they don't, they should.
McAnally will have to punt when they should have had a first down. Anderson put it right in Curtis's hands. He elected to use but one hand and couldn't hold it. Oh, did he boom that one. Right into the end zone. The Dorsett breaks a tackle and stumbles to the 25-yard line. Anderson, we understand, has some leg cramps and may not be back. We're gathering together some scores and try to run down the game still in progress. That's fourth quarter now. Oakland has taken a 20-3 lead over Denver, so there's an upset at the Oakland Alameda Coliseum in progress. Kansas City, it's final, 24-9, and nothing changed in the Rams' cards. It's been 14-0 from the first quarter on. The Rams leading. Second down 5. Ron Springs replaces Dorsett and gets the football. First down as he reaches the 32-yard line. Bo Harris made the stop.
And that play was the play that the Dallas Cowboys scored their first 2 touchdowns on, the tight end trap. They like that play. Jay Salty on Wilson Whitley. Ron Springs right up through the middle. Ron Springs was running back at Ohio State after Archie Griffin. Not quite as successful, but still a very good running back. And a good draft choice for Dallas.
We have 8:22 to go in regulation time. Sam Nover and Bob Trumpy at the Texas Stadium, an 18-point lead for Dallas. First down for Staubach. He's got Springs and Laidlaw behind him. Oh, this kid is something. Laidlaw to the 43-yard line. He's got 2 touchdowns today, and he got a quick 9 yards on that carry.
Finally healthy, and he's replacing Robert Newhouse, who is their starting fullback and been their most consistent fullback over the last few years. A power play up through the middle. Good blocking by the Dallas offensive line. I think Samurai could make a few yards on that play.
Not to change the subject, Bob, but if Tom Landry wins today, and it looks like he will need just one victory to tie Paul Brown for 4th place on the all-time coaching list, which is a remarkable accomplishment and rather ironical inasmuch as Landry is on the far side of the field and Paul Brown for so many years was on the sidelines of Cincinnati and now is sitting somewhere up above us.
No, right below us.
Oh, right below us?
2 great football coaches. There's no denying that.
Inches shy of a first down with Scott Laidlaw. Robert Newhouse has not played a moment today because of a knee injury. Did not play in Cleveland, but they really haven't needed him. That's the great thing about having depth. You can let those injured have a little extra time to heal. Brinson and Laidlaw have done the job. Wilson Whitley met the ball carrier Brinson head on at the line of scrimmage, and I just don't know. Yes, they say a first down. So the Cowboys now can go to work on the clock. They've been working on the Bengals all afternoon. It'll be under 7 minutes to play when they run this play.
And Dallas is well on its way to gaining another 400 yards totally on offense for today and keep their average.
Robert Shaw, the Cowboys' #1 draft choice, center out of Tennessee, 6'4", 245, replaces a veteran John Fitzgerald.
Giving him a rest.
When you were leading fourth quarter action by 18, 20 points, you liked this time too, didn't you?
Sure.
Springs through a nice hole to the midfield stripe and across. Or they sprung Springs very nicely, no pun intended. Duran made the stop.
And as I said earlier, one of the most unpublicized offensive lines. Donovan, Scott, now Shaw in at center, Rafferty.
Oh, they're all going out. Donovan's gone, Scott's gone. Andy Frederick, 71, is in there. Burton Lawless, 66, has moved into the offensive line.
Rayfield Wright playing right tackle. He's not, I don't think you can consider Rayfield Wright a backup. He's been to the Super Bowl 5 times. Not bad.
Well, anybody who's been on the Dallas Cowboys for, what, 8 or 9 years has been to the Super Bowl 5 times, because that's how many times Landry's taken him there. Oh, good stop right at the line of scrimmage. A flag goes into the pile. Jim LeClaire just butted heads with the ball carrier Brinson on the carry and stopped him cold in his tracks. And a flag is down, as I mentioned, with 5:55 to go in the game, and it's holding against Dallas.
52, holding. Second down.
That's a rookie mistake by Robert Shaw. He's been penalized 10 times for 76 yards. And Staubach has gone the distance, even though Dallas leads 31-13. Second down 11. Throws it out here. It's caught by Tony Hill. No, they say he trapped it, and Hill doesn't like it.
Good call. Good call.
You'd have to look at that one again, but Tony still continues to argue. Ken Riley had the coverage.
His momentum carried him to the ground, and he didn't quite hang on to it. It bounced on the ground, and that's not a reception. This is a good call by the officials. Both officials called it the same. Timing pattern by Staubach. Good protection.
Into the black part of the field, huh?
Well, unfortunately, because of the shadows, we can't show it to you.
Well, the man didn't want us to know. What can I tell you? That's fate.
They're so lucky.
With a capital F. They just did not want us to confirm that one way or the other. And again, of course, we apologize, but there's nothing our cameras can do with the shadows here in and out of the sunshine at Texas Stadium. Third down, Staubach is flushed in the pocket. Throws it down here. Preston Pearson at the 23-yard line. He had to come back for it, and they rule no touch again, and Pearson is furious. Oh, he spiked the ball.
That should be a penalty.
It should be.
Yes, it should be. That is a penalty when you spike it like that. It's called delay of game. This was a dying swan by Roger Staubach. Dying swan by Roger Staubach because he was flushed. He couldn't hang on to the football. That's the toughest spot to be. An official that makes the call on the side of the team that the call went against.
Well, Preston Pearson gave him an earful, didn't he? And there was no flag, so there is no personal foul. I think that may have been an oversight. Well, that's just an automatic thing, delay of game, spiking the football like that. So Danny White, who's had himself a great day, as has Pat McInally. White's averaged 49 yards at punt, McInally 50. Good high spiral by Danny. Lusby at his 13-yard line, fair catch right in the sun. And so they'll spot it there, 44 yards on the punt by White.
I don't think he caught it. You watch this ball hit the ground and up in his hands.
Run it back one more time there. Maybe
watch the ball. You see that? The back end of the ball was the ball that hit first. I think that's a good call.
You may be right. Nice work by our director Richard Klein. First down, Cincinnati the other way. Pete Johnson gets outside, breaks a tackle, and falls to the 25-yard line. I don't know if they run that play with any great frequency, but the last 2 times they've run it, Johnson has picked up 7 and 13 yards. I think it ought to go in the playbook permanently.
Sam, they do, but Pete Johnson is hurt. They can't give him the ball 25, 30 times a ball game. They got some new people in there. Jack Thompson at quarterback. Isaac Curtis is out. Steve Kreider's now running at flanker. Don Bass had split in.
So the throw-in Samoan, who has scored 3 touchdowns, all of them on the ground, in carrying Cincinnati through their last 2 games after Anderson went down. At the 25-yard line, he has a first down. And to give to Charles Alexander to about the 27. Tripped up in the middle of the pile. Also, Dallas has made a number of changes. Bruce Thornton made the stop along with Cliff Harris. I see that Mike Hegman, number 58, is in at left linebacker. So Landry and Homer Rice both looking at as many players as possible. With this one pretty well decided. Dallas leading 31-13, and we're under 4.5 minutes to play in the game. So it looks like the Cowboys will keep pace with Philadelphia and Washington at 4-1. San Diego has beaten San Francisco 31-9. That game is now final. Second down, Thompson over the middle. Alexander at the 35. The first man missed him. Then Aaron Kyle came up to make the tackle secure. So San Diego has won by 23. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KMOL TV, Channel 4, San Antonio.
Sam Nover, Bob Trumpy back in Dallas. We are obviously running very late. We apologize. There will be no NFL report show tonight. We've given you all of the scores, and the wonderful world of Disney will follow our broadcast immediately.
Sam, you mentioned that San Francisco score. That's the first time that San Francisco has really gotten blown out this season. They've been in every football game they've played. Good offensive team, struggling on defense.
Gave Dallas all they could handle.
They sure did.
21-13 decision at San Francisco.
There's Homer Rice, you know, one of the nicest men you'll ever meet, one of the most diligent men you'll ever meet, and he really doesn't deserve an 0-5 football team.
I did meet him yesterday, and I concur with everything you said.
I've never met anybody who works harder and is a nicer man in my entire life, except maybe for the guy across the field, Tom Landry.
Of course, Cincinnati is where his roots are. He started in Fort Thomas, Kentucky as a player. Later coached at Highlands High School, University of Cincinnati. He's run the gamut there, hasn't he?
Yes, and I don't want to make enemies of the people in Texas, and I hope Darrell Royal isn't missing, but the guy who invented the triple option or wishbone was Homer Rice. He called it Homer's triple. Darrell Royal called it the triple option or the wishbone, and as I said, I hope Darrell Royal is not listening.
So back to the game. We have a first down, Cincinnati. Under 3 minutes to go in regulation time, and the throwing Samoan Jack Thompson has run the ball with the exception of one pass. Here he is again. Harvey Martin, right side. It's intercepted by Thornton. Down he goes at the 25. Harvey Martin caused the interception by Thornton. Let's look at it again.
Well, there's not many people left in the stadium, but they certainly do like this. Blindsided. There you see Martin. Oh, that's uncomfortable to even watch. And a nice reception by Thornton. Dallas has got it again. Well, I imagine since Homer Rice is the disciple and Tom Landry is the teacher, Tom Landry is going to try desperately not to get it in the end zone here to rub it in.
Did you notice who Thornton took the football away from? Vern Holland.
Yes.
A couple of linemen contesting for it. Danny White now in at quarterback. Staubach is done for the day. He's had a nice one. Laidlaw and Ron Springs are the setbacks, and Springs gets the football, spins to about the 21-yard line. 164 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, was not sacked today. And while the stats may not be all that impressive, well, those stats are not right. The ones I gave you are. Well, that's not all that impressive. His first half was 6 out of 16. So you subtract that, he had a great second half. Wilson in motion. Oh, boy. LeClaire arrived at the same time
I like that. Cincinnati still playing with a vengeance. 1:58 left. Trailing 31-13.
We have reached the 2-minute warning in this.
They've done a lot of things in the second half. The first half, it was all Tony Dorsett. Second half, it's all been all Roger Staubach.
You know, oddly enough, the Cowboys earned that 3-1 record this year, and were outscored 80-74. Let's start running through the scores that we have. I believe everything is final now. These are the late games. Oakland has upset Denver, and decisively, 27-3. Continuing, Kansas City, a big win over Seattle at the Kingdome, and Marv Levy's got the Chiefs rolling. Also, well, we'll get back to him in a moment. Third down for Danny White, spread formation. Throws it out here. He's got a man. Tony Hill out of bounds. Inside the 10-yard line, it'll be 1st and 10 Dallas, or 1st and goal Dallas.
That's kind of rubbing it in, Sam.
I think so.
Third down and 8, leading 31-13. Go to the shotgun. There's nothing wrong with it.
The Rams have beaten the Cardinals. First down. They said he stepped out of bounds at the 12, not inside the 10. So I was right the first time. Springs to the 5-yard line. Jimmy LeClaire made the stop, and the Bengals have not given up. And I think that's a great test to some of their character. Not all of them, but some of them.
I agree. This is a very talented football team. They have 13 first-round draft choices on this football team, and eventually they're going to win. Question is, when?
Minute 24, and the clock continues to run at the 5-yard line. Second down at about 3 now for Dallas. Briefly recapping, Chris Barr's 48-yard field goal in the first quarter gave the Bengals a 3-0 lead. They were driving for more points when Randy Hughes picked off Ken Anderson, returned at 68 yards. Laidlaw went in for the touchdown, springs down to about the 1-yard line. He did not get in, I don't believe. And that really set the tone for this football game, because then it was 7-3 Dallas. Instead, it might have been 6-0 or even 10-0 Cincinnati. Here are your 1 o'clock finals. Houston 31-10 over Cleveland. Washington beat Atlanta 16-7. The Jets in a big upset over Miami by 6 points. New Orleans defeated the hapless Giants at the Superdome by 10. The biggest upset of the day, the Steelers lose for the first time at Philadelphia. Minnesota by 3 over the Lions. Baltimore losing again at 5 straight. Buffalo wins by 18. And Tampa Bay 17-13 over Chicago. You are up to date. First down, goal to go. Springs has earned the touchdown. He got it. Well, he earned it, Bob. I think he got all the yardage except for the one pass to Tony Hill in that drive.
Yeah, but in all honesty, I see Homer Rice looking across the field at Tom Landry wondering, hey, Tom, listen, we're down and out. Why you want to rub it in? But take nothing away from Dallas. Their offense has played well all day long. 37 points, certainly the most points they've scored this season.
And so the Cincinnati Bengals have paid a visit to Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas for just the second time in their history. And they have met with almost the identical result. They lost 38-10 here in 1973. And if Seption puts on this extra point, they are in danger of losing 40-13. And he did. And they do.
And Kenny Anderson threw 3 interceptions 6 years ago. Today he's had 2.
Has run it out of bounds on the far side, and there's 2 seconds left, stopping the clock. The executive producer of NBC Sports is done. Do we replay?
If there's time on the clock or not.
12 men on the field.
Oh, well, no wonder they got
untimed down.
No wonder they got held the Bengals to 13 points. They've been playing with 12 guys.
You've done that we and us stuff today.
Yeah, they're losing 38-13. I don't mind saying we and us.